And welcome back, everybody, to now episode 4 and week 4 of the NFL season as me and my co-host Mr. Graves continue our series predicting every game of every NFL week. And we've done okay this year so far. We've had some really bad weeks and we've had some okay weeks. I mean, I think Mr. Graves had the best record so far in week 1, but he has our overall records in his right now, so they're not the greatest.
Yeah, neither one of us has a winning record. I have the one game advantage on 21 and 27. You were 20 and 28. We kind of had opposite starts. I started strong and then had a losing record this last week, and you started out with a losing record, but
I've slowly crawled my way back to being very, very close to you now. And yep. I mean, this week could really be a make or break week. If somebody has a good week this week, then they might be able to run away with it going forward.
Yep.
But it should be interesting for sure, because I feel like the NFL this year, you just don't know what's going to happen in any of the games.
Yeah, like, there's so many teams and unknown factors, because teams like the Broncos and Bears have not played very well, but they have winning records at this point. So.
And I picked the Dolphins to win last week, I believe, but I really didn't expect them to win. But, I mean, they did. And the Bills, I think it was probably just an off day for them, but they didn't look that great in that game. It's just a bad week if you're going for the super teams over the underdogs last week.
Yeah. Definitely.
And we have some interesting matchups to begin with. Starting in the AFC, as we always do, go from left to right. We have the Dolphins and the Bengals. I'm going to go with the Dolphins again. I have faith in them.
Man. The only question mark I have is, I know Tua is questionable from his injury, but I doubt he's able to come back in the last game.
Yeah.
So I think he'll probably be good to go.
Yeah, I'm going to lean on Tua playing with this selection, but if he doesn't, then obviously the Bengals probably have an advantage. Who is the backup? Is Teddy Bridgewater the backup in Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he could still win them the game theoretically. But
man, this is a tough one.
The Bengals are sitting at 1-3 now. If I take the Dolphins 1-2 overall, right? So yeah,
I'll go with the Bengals. I think
keep it different
this week. But I think we're probably gonna keep it the same this next game.
Oh yeah, we were taking Texans, right?
Definitely not.
Is Justin Herbert injured though? I thought I had heard that he was injured, but
he's still banged up because his ribs are fractured.
Oh yeah, the doctor punctured his. Oh, that was another guy, but
but he's still supposed to be starting, and I don't know. I think Keenan Allen's back. I don't know. The Texans just got beat by Justin Fields in a pretty terrible performance, so I expect even banged up Justin Herbert can wheel the Chargers to win against
honestly,
them.
I think it's probably pretty early in the season a make or break win for the Chargers, though, because they kind of look like they're not going to be that great this season. I know they can be good, but their coaching has been really questionable, and they've gotten
a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I know. I know a couple of the
year.
defenders are out now.
Yeah, and Joey Bosa is out for
and then
a little bit.
Keenan Allen's missed time too, I believe. So
yeah, he's been out since week 1.
So
he might be back this week. I'm not sure though.
It's gonna be interesting. We're both going with the Chargers there. Next up, we have Titans Colts. Colts are another very disappointing team. So are the Titans.
But the Colts did have their pretty big upset against the Chiefs last week.
Yeah,
and.
I mean, I was a little disappointed in Jonathan Taylor, but no reasoning for that. Not like I have him in fantasy or anything.
Yeah,
I think
I'm gonna roll with the Colts.
Yeah, I take them over the Titans. I don't think they're as good as they should be just yet, but I think they're better than the Titans are.
Yeah.
Man,
I didn't even realize Matt Ryan, I saw, has already fumbled the ball 7 times.
Goodness, great. He must. I wonder if a lot of those are from snaps or just from getting hit or trying to throw it.
I'm not sure because I think a lot of them are from getting hit, but I think one last week, he tried to run for it and fumbled.
Yeah. So, I mean, anytime Matt Ryan's trying to run the ball, you know something's wrong with your offense. Especially at the age he is now. He's not...
Here's a tough game, though, this next one.
Bills and Ravens.
Man, this is a tough one because honestly, Lamar has looked better than Josh Allen,
Yeah.
I'd say.
And I mean, the Ravens could very easily be 3-0 right now. So
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is their defense. Are they going to choke for Lamar like they did
um,
against the Dolphins?
I have a tough time picking the Bills to lose 2 in a row, but I want Lamar to win, so I'm gonna go with the Ravens on this one.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I'll go
agree
opposite.
both
I think
ways.
Bills will bounce back.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game, and like I said, there's a very high chance the Bills win this just because they lost last week. I don't think they'll lose 2 in a row, but I mean, I think the Ravens will come out to play though, and
Yeah.
Lamar, he might struggle a little bit against that defense because, like we saw, Tua went from like 6 touchdowns to barely doing anything last week overall wise. So the Bills have a good defense, but it's going to be interesting to see. Because Lamar's offensive game is a lot different than what Tua would run in Miami.
Yeah.
And we have the Jets and Steelers next up, a rivalry game right here.
Which Zach Wilson will be getting the start.
No, Joe Flacco. That's why it's a rivalry game. He's the Ravens. No. Zach Wilson, he's got that dog in him. I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. I think the Jets could win, though.
Man. Yeah. Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Steelers just because I think they kind of need this to kind of stay somewhat afloat.
Yeah.
And the Jets, I'm just not sure what Zach Wilson's going to be like this year.
It's kind of like...
I think he'll definitely improve over last year.
If the Steelers win this game, it's going to be like one patch on a boat that's already about 40 feet under. So I think it might help them a little bit, but I don't know how well it's going to do for the rest of their season. And I think the Jets honestly, for the Jets, they'd be better off being bad just to get another high draft pick at this point.
Yeah.
But Zach Wilson should be fun to watch, though. So I'm interested to see how he does.
Yeah, definitely.
And next up, we have Broncos Raiders. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but
that's all right.
Another weird one. I mean, when you go from Hall of Fame quarterback to Hall of Fame quarterback, 0-3 is where it goes.
Man, I don't know. This is a tough one because it's like the Raiders. Like the Raiders haven't been bad when you look at them. It's just they've lost.
Well, I mean, blowing a 20-0 lead against the Cardinals. Yeah. And then again, like I feel like the Broncos, they're sitting at 2-1. I just feel in my brain they're like they haven't won a single game from the way the media's covered them. It's so weird to see them at 2-1.
The Broncos have been one of the most disappointing teams, but they have a winning record.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Raiders. I think they get their first win.
I want to say, I'm gonna stick with Raiders too. I went down the whole right side pretty much the last 4 games. I think it's they're just too talented to lose every game. It's going to be something eventually gives. And like you said,
Watch them go 4-13.
They've been competitive pretty much every game so far. It's just they haven't been able to finish out. And, having a Hall of Fame quarterback might let them do that, but they don't have that. So, no hate there from a Packers fan.
They got Jarrett Stidham.
I forgot about Jarrett Stidham. Didn't they have Nathan Peterman at one point, too? So, I think last year.
Now.
So they did have a Hall of Fame quarterback at one point, but he left for Chicago now. And now we get into the middle column, which is AFC, NFC, and we start out with the Browns and the Falcons. Falcons have been interesting this year for sure.
Yeah, I feel like they've kind of got an underrated offense because Marcus Mariota has been pretty good. Drake London has been really good. Cordero Patterson is 3rd in rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean,
offensive player of the week.
I feel like Marcus Mariota's kind of always been one of those guys that everybody says is a bad quarterback, but he's actually been not really good, but decent at least whenever he's played. It's kind of a weird situation there, especially when they drafted Desmond Ridder right after signing him.
Yeah. But it's also hard because the Browns have
the Browns
pretty good with Jacoby Brissett.
Which Myles Garrett, I believe, will be out because of he had that accident.
Yeah, but I saw apparently he's trying to play, so it's up in the air right now.
I would not have. I don't know if you've seen the video of his car, but it's very, very beat up. So I'm surprised he would be able to play this week if he does.
But man, this is a tough one. I want to say the Falcons because I want them to win, but I think the Browns are going to take it.
I'm going to stick with the Falcons on this one. Keep it a little different so we don't have the same records. I think this week already we might have chosen the most different games.
Yeah,
I think we have.
we
Do we have three?
right now.
Yeah, we have three
Yeah.
right now. So if we choose any more, which we likely will, it's going to be probably a record for us.
Yeah.
And
This might be one here.
Yeah, I know. Jaguars Eagles. Who expected the
Which-
Jaguars to be sitting at 2-1?
Who expected 2 years ago we'd be saying this would be a potentially game of the week?
Yeah. Two
the
very
Jaguars-
exciting teams.
Yeah, the Jaguars have looked really good, and the Eagles have looked really good. The Eagles are one of those teams that's like, in my mind, I don't think of them and go, man, they're like top 3 team in the NFL. But when you look at all the teams,
Yeah.
they kind of are.
I mean, people were trying to tell us before the season, all the analysts were saying Jalen Hurts is going to be the best fantasy player or one of the best quarterbacks this year. I didn't really believe him, but he's been really good so far.
Yeah.
But then, the Jaguars, they've looked really good as well, so.
I think I'll go with the Jaguars here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with... This is a tough one. I feel like it can go either way. I just feel like eventually we're going to see the Jaguars kind of collapse because they're not quite there yet. But I'm going to go with Eagles on this one. So another different pick. I want to think they're going to be 4-0.
Now, one that I think we can agree on is the Packers.
Yeah,
over the
Packers
Patriots.
all the way. I mean, if we lose, it's going to be very embarrassing considering Mac Jones isn't even playing.
Yeah,
So,
but I'm guessing Brian Hoyer is going to
yeah,
start.
from what I saw on Instagram not too long ago, Brian Hoyer is going to get the start. So,
Which, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if old Bailey Zappi got some playing time.
Bailey Zabapi. Yeah,
The rookie
definitely
quarterback.
should win this game. Their offense hasn't looked
Yeah.
that great. We've had a good defense. I don't see any reason why we don't.
Yeah, the offense hasn't looked good, and I'd say downgrade at quarterback.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not that Mac Jones is good or anything. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, Ramondre Stevenson had finally a good week last week, so maybe they get that going. But
Yeah, I think him and Damian Harris are going to go off probably. If you got a Patriots running back in fantasy, this would be the game to use them.
Hey, now watch out there. I mean, I have Ramondre Stevenson, but he's staying on the bench for now. And next up we have, is Mike Evans? He's back, right? It was only a 1-game suspension.
Yeah, I believe so.
So this should be a rematch of the Super Bowl a few years ago, Chiefs and Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers should be somewhat closer to healthy this time. They weren't really all that healthy last week against the Packers.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I
Yeah.
think they bounced back after their loss.
Yeah, I think
Kind of an embarrassing loss.
yeah, they could put up a lot of points on this Buccaneers team.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Is the Buccaneers offense, I mean, even though it hasn't had their players, it still hasn't looked good, and
yeah,
they've still had good players. So
yeah. I mean,
I'm going to go Chiefs.
Chiefs, you can never go wrong with picking Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's always a good quarterback. So I mean, even if they, are facing a team that's better than them statistically, which I don't really know if this is the case here, but I think it's easy to pick Patrick Mahomes as the winner there.
Yeah.
And now we get into the NFC, which is the final column again for this week 4, and we start out with the Vikings and the Saints. I don't want to pick the Vikings, but I think they're going to win this one.
Yeah. I think the same. Jameis Winston didn't look great, although I could see him bounce back. He's one of those hot or cold
Which I
quarterbacks,
did
so it looked
see.
terrible.
I did see on Instagram that they are allowing Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill to take snaps as a quarterback because Jameis Winston is questionable. So
Yeah.
could
Yeah,
be interesting.
I've seen because Jameis is recovering from his injury, and they're talking about if he struggles, they
Yeah.
would possibly look at somebody else. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think the Vikings are kind of going to get things rolling again this week.
I
after
hope not,
a
but
weird week.
they might very well do that. And that would have them tied with us in the NFC North for 3-1. Technically first place, though, because they'd have the tiebreaker over us.
Yeah.
But I don't know what my dog's doing in the background. He's jumping around here.
hear his
Yeah, I was about to
chain.
say, y'all can probably hear his chain. Next up, we have the Commandos and the Cowboys. Oh, man. Cowboys look good.
Yeah, the Cowboys looked good last week. I want to pick the Commanders, but man,
They
did not look good last week.
I just refuse to select the Cowboys, so I'm going to go with the Commandos, or the Commanders, excuse me, if you think I'm pronouncing it wrong. But, yeah, I want to go with the Commanders, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really want to pick the Cowboys because I don't want them to jump that high.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think last week. They're playing a team that's really bad, has barely won a game this season. Nah, just kidding.
Man.
This is a tough one. Probably the toughest one I've picked this week so far.
Yeah, because I don't want to pick the Cowboys, but
I'm gonna stick with the Commanders on this one. If I lose, I lose.
Yeah, I'll say they bounce back. Carson Wentz has a good game.
Yeah.
And I'm going Lions next game. I think they're a team that has been better than their records looked and pretty underrated considering, like, Jared Goff. I keep seeing people say he needs to be benched or they need to get a new quarterback. I'm like,
yeah.
The man has 7 touchdowns and 2 picks.
I mean, obviously he's on my fantasy team, but I'm a big Amon-Ra St. Brown fan because of he's been playing really well and he played well last year. I think a lot of people overlooked him last year, and the Seahawks had their magical win for 1 week, and I would not be surprised if they lose every single game the rest of the season.
Which it is funny looking and seeing Geno Smith still put up better numbers than Russell Wilson.
Yeah. And it's not that he's playing terrible. I think the Seahawks team just doesn't have a lot of talent on the roster.
Yeah. I wonder how long it'll be before we would potentially see Drew Lock.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've thought about, but I don't know if it would necessarily change my predictions.
Yeah.
I think he's still an average quarterback at best. Maybe he can be better than that.
I think it'd be more fun to watch Drew Lock.
Yeah, if you're going to lose, you most likely want to lose with a young quarterback so they get some experience, in my opinion. So I don't know how long Geno Smith is going to be in, but we're both going Lions on that matchup. And now we have the Bears and the Giants. Neither of us have any dog in this fight. It's not like I hate the Bears. It's not like you're a fan of the Giants. So this is going to be completely unbiased here, probably.
Giants.
Yeah, I'm going Giants. Right now I have the Bears at 0-4 on my predictions. So,
that's the biggest thing is the Bears. Like, I just can't believe that they have a winning record right now.
Yeah.
And with Justin Fields, with how poor his play has looked.
Yeah. Well,
the fact that
they have a good running game, and it also helps when you play week 1 in a hurricane, basically, so you can't throw the ball, and Trey Lance was the other quarterback, so I feel like that gave them an advantage there. But Justin Fields has looked very bad.
Yeah, and David Montgomery is supposed to be out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I saw I don't know how much he missed last week, but Khalil Herbert had a big week last week, so... I'm still going Giants no matter how much you try to... Anyone can try to convince me to pick the Bears, and I'll go Giants for them.
Yeah, I just think the Giants, as much as it hurt to watch that game the other day, the offensive line can't play that much worse than that, and I think the Cowboys' defense is quite a bit better than the Bears.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we get a little something going.
Yeah, just got to protect Daniel Jones a little bit better. That's really the main thing.
Yeah.
And now we get into our final 2 matchups here. First off, we have the Cardinals and the Panthers. A weird game, honestly.
Yeah, I would like to pick the Panthers, but I'm going Cardinals here.
Yeah, what are the Cardinals right now? They sit at 1-2. Last year they had that really fast start, and then they kind of fell off. I'm gonna say Cardinals too. I want to think it's probably gonna be the opposite this year. They start slow, and then they get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, I could see them being one of the last wild card teams to sneak in.
For sure. But they're just too
Panthers,
talented.
Baker Mayfield I don't know. He's my favorite player, but he just hasn't looked good.
Yeah, he's looked a lot like Eli Manning would play.
He's not been the... You said who?
Eli Manning would play. I mean, just terrible.
No, he's not looked like terrible like other quarterbacks, but he also is definitely not been good.
Yeah, definitely disappointing for what Panthers fans expected out of him, I think is the main thing you could say.
The biggest thing that's disappointed me is the lack of impact DJ Moore has had.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the Panthers game last week, but apparently Baker had DJ Moore wide open, and he just either didn't see him or didn't throw to him for whatever reason.
It's going to be
it seems like they're kind of neglecting him.
It's going to be the old Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson. That, for whatever reason, a quarterback just ain't going to throw to him.
Yeah, it makes no sense because Sam Darnold was Robbie Anderson's teammate, and he never threw to him, and then Robbie's the one who called out Baker and said, no, don't get him, and now he's the only person Baker's throwing to. But
yeah, I don't know. That's the
He'd
Panthers.
rather throw it to Shi Smith for a negative 2 yard loss.
Yeah,
than throw it to
you got to
DJ
run
Moore
those. You got to run those screenplays.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Panthers have a lot of weird stuff going on this season, but we both went with the Cardinals there.
The worst thing watching the Panthers is whenever it's like 3rd and 18 and they call a screen pass.
Starting to look like the old Gamecock offense over there in Carolina. There's just something about these states, you know. Offense can't be consistent. And now we get into our final matchup, which is a rematch of the conference championship game last year.
Yeah.
So 49ers and Rams. Jimmy G's back.
Yeah.
Coming off a loss, though.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Because the 49ers offense didn't look that good last week. But the Rams look like they've slowly gotten a little better.
Yeah. Ah, man.
I don't know. I'll go with 49ers here.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards that direction, too. It's so weird to think that I imagine out of the first 3 episodes of this, I've picked against both of the Super Bowl teams multiple times already. Which is something I never thought I would have said, but I'll probably stick with the 49ers here as well. I think they'll bounce back and hopefully get Deebo Samuel involved a little bit. I would very much like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is our picks for this week, which I don't know about yours right now. On my end, I have no undefeated teams and one winless team, which is the Texans.
Right now, I have the Dolphins sitting at 4-0 and the Eagles sitting at 4-0. And then, let's see, do I have a winless team? I think I have, the Texans are 0-3-1 now on mine. Your Giants are sitting pretty at 3-1, though.
Yeah.
Don't know if that'll be what actually happens, but hopefully it is, because, I mean, who wants to see the Bears win? If we're being honest. I don't think I've ever met a non-Bears fan say they want the Bears to win. It's just kind of one of those teams, you know, like the Cowboys almost.
Yeah.
Just a weird fan base over there in Chicago. But yeah, I've been enjoying these videos. I hope all of you guys that watch these have been enjoying them. You know, we're not experts by any means, but it's still fun to give our predictions, even though we lose pretty much every week. It seems like
we've only. Yeah, we both have
only had 2 positive weeks. One in you in week 1, and me just now in the last episode.
Yeah.
So it's been tough, but
yeah, that was putting it mildly.
Yeah, just a little difficult for us, but yeah, I've been enjoying this series so far, and it's gonna be something that we'll continue to do across the rest of the season. And I thank you all for watching this video. Mr. Graves, do you want to end us out on this one?
Yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully we will come back with some good records. But what we had, what was it, 6 or 7 different picks?
Yeah, it's something like a crazy amount this week, so it should be interesting coming in next week.
Unfortunately, I feel like I'm about to have like a 22 and 30 something record.
Yeah, I'm calling it now. I'll go undefeated this week. You know, I'm feeling good about myself.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I guess we'll catch y'all in the next one.
Peace.